Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to end the video, and this is a paid request for James. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. I'll get to it as soon as I can. And James wanted me to look at another episode of Breaking Bad, Season 3, Episode 1. Of course, the show starring Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul. Now, previously in the second season at the end, Aaron Paul's character was with this girl. They were falling for each other, getting back in the drugs together. She saw a bit of possibility to get some money out of this, so knowing what they do for a living, maybe to blackmail Bryan Cranston's character, which he doesn't really want to do, but she kind of twists his arm to do it. One thing leads to another. Bryan Cranston comes to talk with them. She's ODing. Bryan could save her, doesn't. Watches her die. Aaron Paul freaks out. Just goes absolute haywire with drugs. Bryan Cranston brings him to a rehab center. And then Q himself, from Star Trek Next Generation, he's the dad of the girl who died, who OD'd. He's an air traffic controller. After some time, it goes back to work, but he can't pay attention. Two planes crash. And that's how it ends on the season 2. And now we're in sort of the aftermath of that. But before that, we have this bit of a weird scene. But you see all these people, literally in Mexico, crawling on the ground. Just crawling and crawling. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Why, like, dozen people crawling? And then you see these two guys drive in, and look like they're twins. And then they get on the ground, and they crawl. It looks like they crawl a long-ass way until the twins get there, and then they go into this, I don't know, little church or something. But nobody else goes in. You see like all people crawling after him, but no one else goes in. I guess it's like an altar of worship. But it's like, okay, well, why did you crawl from like half a mile away? And how come when you're crawling up here, you don't go in the tent? I guess you don't wait for them, I guess. And that whole thing was a bit weird. I wasn't sure how I felt about that. It's like, what the fuck's going on? It looked goofy to me. It looked goofy, everyone just crawling. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, okay, this is a bit of a weird way to start off the season. And you find out these two twins, they have a drawing of Heisenberg, aka Bryan Cranston. There's an alter, different name he goes by. So we have Bryan Cranston. Him and his wife are separating. The wife thinks he's a weed dealer, wants nothing to do with him, wants him out, separated. Bryan Cranston's kind of out of it. I do like the bit where he puts money on a grill, he's burning the money, and then he kind of snaps out and goes, what am I doing? He puts it in the pool, and then by doing so, he gets himself burnt up on fire. It looks like he really did get on fire, and then jumps into the pool. I think Bryan Cranston actually directed this episode, interesting enough. So I thought that was kind of cool. Like, I guess he's burned the money. Think he's gonna get rid of it, or then he changes. Oh, what am I doing? Kind of a funny, quirky thing to start off with the character. But pretty much Bryan Cranston's character, they're getting separated. He moves out. The son doesn't know what's going on. He's confused. He's angry about it, which is understandable. I know it's not the right thing to do, but I still think it's a bit harsh that she all of a sudden wants a divorce because you could argue, like, in her mind, okay, he wants money. Like, so that you're not destitute, and so that he's not to pay for this stuff. That we have this money, we need this amount of money. Let me do this so we can get this money so I could try to get myself better from cancer, and also so that we don't lose our money and you're not, and our son and our new daughter now are not homeless. And it's weed. I mean, that's the thing. It is illegal, especially at this time, but it's still weed. Now, if she found out from the beginning that it was meth, maybe that'd be a different matter. But it's like, he's even a bit harsh, lady, on the separation thing. I guess that's just me, the way I look at it. So while he's doing that and trying to deal with that, Aaron Paul is dealing with rehab. I thought this was a nice scene when the group leader is trying to talk to him, and Aaron Paul's like, well, what do you know? You ever hurt anybody? Okay. And then Jared Burns, that's the actor's name, which I recognize. He was one of the people in the Michael J. Fox film Greedy. That's one of the in-laws trying to get this money from Kirk Douglas. Jared Burns tells the story of how he accidentally killed his daughter. How he was high, he was out of it, he needed more. He had a fight with his wife, found out him myself, gets in the truck, backed up, but his daughter was playing in the driveway, and he didn't realize it until too late. I thought the way Aaron Paul kind of sold it, where this realization on his eyes, the way Jared Burns played it, where he's stated in a way matter-of-factly, but you tell it still affects him a bit, but he needs to let it out because I'm sure he's told this story before, and as he puts it, self-hatred stands in the way of true change. Because Aaron Paul goes, how do you not hate yourself? I did, for a long time, and that led to more drinking and drugs, but self-hatred stands in the way of true change. I thought that really helped in my favorite scene in the episode, where Bryan Cranston gets Aaron Paul, takes him to his apartment, says you just sleep on the couch, and this guy, Gus, whoever, he's got the money, your side of the money, and trying to talk to him, and pretty much Aaron Paul discusses about the plane and what happened. And Bryan Cranston's like, that's not your fault. That's not your fault at all. And so Aaron Paul goes, no, I did it. I accept who I am. Oh, and what are you? I'm the bad guy. He doesn't say in a way of being sense of accomplishment or happiness. It's, I'm a bad guy. And that kind of stuns Bryan Cranston's character, because you see, like, Jesse, Aaron Paul's character, he's accepting what's going on, who he truly is. He's not lying to himself. But Bryan Cranston is always shifting the blame, always trying to, oh, it's going to work. He's always shifting the blame of something. He's always shifting it away. Whether it be lying consistently to his wife, and you just maybe say that's part of the reason of the separation, which I can understand that part. Shifting that blame, him trying, because in reality he's the reason the girl OD'd is doing drugs, but Bryan Cranston didn't help. So partly is his blame, but he doesn't want to accept responsibility. These in this weird bit where they're in school and kids are talking about how they're affected by it. And Bryan Cranston's like, well, you know, the one plane wasn't too full, and like trying to find a way to make it seem as not as bad as it is. And maybe there's a part of him that wants. There is a part of him that wants to be found guilty and judged. Just when Dean Norris helps him move out and finds his bag. Hey, his bag's heavy. What's in it? $500,000. Oh yeah, sure it is. Or his ex, I guess, gonna be ex-wife. Think it's the weed business. He's like, no, it's not the weed business. What are you talking about? And she's like, what? Cocaine? And he's like, meth. But then he goes, well, I'm not the. I just make it. I don't give it, sell it. I don't sell it to those kids. I just make it. So it's like he admits it, but then it's like, well, it's. He just like doesn't want to. It's like he'll admit it. Like part of him wants to get caught, but then he doesn't want to. Like as if he doesn't want to admit that he's a bad guy. And then kind of this shifting blame thing, while the Jesse character seems a little bit more pure and accepting who he is, and maybe that's for the future where since Jesse can accept this stuff, see what 2 feet he happens to be on, while Walt, he'll argue or he'll think of excuses of why this and this happened, which maybe makes his character more and more gray as the show goes on. Great, it does have that thing of it's the first episode, so it's kind of putting the people in the places we need them to be. So it doesn't feel like there's a lot of development. And so, okay, we need Aaron Paul out of the rehab, and he's going to be here, at least right now, at Walt's place. Okay, we gotta have them separated, so now Walt is going to be over here while the family's over there. Okay, there's going to be some threat coming, so we establish these 2 twins that at the end of the episode, they're part of, in this truck to go across the border. One of them recognizes them, and they shoot up everybody. Burn and blow up the truck on their way to find Bryan Cranston's character. So we're setting up the imposing threat. We're setting up where Aaron Paul's going to be, where now Bryan Cranston's going to be at. Like putting the pieces into place for the rest of the season. So a little bit of that stop and start feel to the episode. So I wouldn't say it's a favorite episode of mine. But it definitely shaking things up, see where it goes from here. Like I said, I like the scene with Aaron Paul and the rehab group leader. I like that scene. I like the scene where, again, I'm the bad guy. I accept who I am. Had a bit of power in there. I kind of like that. I thought Aaron Paul did a really good job with that. Really grow, like Aaron Paul's character is just more and more interesting as it goes along, which I appreciate. And I guess we'll see where it goes from here. But overall, didn't mind the episode for what it was. John Delancey, who's the guy who's the overdose girl's father that led to the plane's crashing. We only see him briefly, like a piece of news where he's coming out and reporters trying to talk to him. So don't know exactly what happened, like if he's going to go to jail. Don't know if we'll ever see that character again. The blame is put on him in the news, of course. But yeah, it would be nice to have at least one or two more scenes with him. I don't know if we'll get that. I mean, now that the wife knows he quits Beth, it'll be interesting to see why she doesn't tell, like, Dean Norris. Or why she doesn't tell other people about it. Guess we'll find out and see. But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. Definitely be interested to see what's going to happen next. And we'll see how it goes. Thanks once again, James. Really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.